Marketing Kitchen TV Q&A Live. This is where you ask your questions at @MarketingKitchen TV Twitter utilizing the hashtag Q&A, and I will answer your questions right here on YouTube. Welcome, marketing chefs. I've got something truly special cooking in our Omni-Channel oven today. Marketing Kitchen TV Q&A Live, Chapter 11. I ran out of fingers. Up next in the Marketing Kitchen. Welcome to the kitchen, the Marketing Kitchen. Hi, I'm Ron Vining, your host of Marketing Kitchen TV. Welcome to @MarketingKitchen TV Q&A Live. All you need to do is go to @MarketingKitchen TV on Twitter, use the hashtag Q&A, and I will answer your questions here. Welcome back to Marketing Kitchen TV Q&A Live. This is chapter number 11, where I'm taking 4 of your questions today as part of our 13-chapter series. And Kelsey asked the first of 4 questions today. And Kelsey's question is, a comprehensive social media marketing, I assume that's what you meant there, so SMM, strategy is essential for reaching and engaging a broad audience. What types of techniques can marketers use to help build trust with their audience? That's a great question. You are correct. A comprehensive social media marketing strategy is essential for any brand or any individual. It all comes down to a strategy. You shouldn't just randomly get on social media and start posting. Well, actually, I typically advise people to just jump in and get started. But beyond testing the waters, you need a strategy. Let me wait for this plane to go by before I continue. All right, so once you've developed a strategy, what types of techniques can marketers use to help build trust with their audience? Perhaps that's part of your strategy. You're looking to build trust with your particular brand fans, trust around a new product or service, or in the case of maybe you're asking me this question today, Kelsey, because of the fact of what's going on and the economies are reopening and people might be fearful or concerned, whatever that might be. What are some ways that you can build trust with your audience through social media marketing? Well, I would say that it's no different than building engagement, trying to build a brand awareness. The tactics are all the same. What you want to do is you want to obviously create good content, and that content can come in a number of different forms. Remember, here's your brand. So you have your product, here's your brand, you have your product, your service, you have your objectives, your goals, what it is that you want to accomplish, and you create a strategy. You create a strategy about how and which channels you're going to engage on to reach your customer. So what messages will you use? What channels will you use? What kind of content will you use to help engage with them? So social media can just be one piece of that content. You can do things in the physical world as well as the digital world to engage them. And so what you want to do, and what are some of the techniques that I guess that you can use to help build trust, is you can have, specifically, I'm going to speak specifically to trust now. Again, not knowing what the industry is that you're asking about, or what the product or service is, or what the reason is behind all of this, because these are all important to the strategy. But some ways that you can build trust is that you can have testimonials. You can have testimonials from employees. You can have testimonials from customers. These can be existing customers, these can be past customers, these could be future customers who are considering utilizing your service. You could make use of them in a series of tweets or ads or infographics. You could use a mascot to be, or an ambassador, if you will, to help convey or tell that story. Let's say that you had a safety squirrel. Okay, I don't know, I'm just making this crap up from the top of my head, okay? Some of the best marketing is made up that way, Kelsey. So let's say that you had a safety squirrel, and the safety squirrel is going to give nuts of truth, and so, or an acorns of truth. So the safety squirrel has stored up a number of acorns, and is going to show you each of them on this journey about how you can trust our brand. Our brand is safe, the environment we've created is safe, our product and services are safe, our staff are protected and safe. Again, you keep reinforcing that message. So I would use, in this particular case, as I just gave an example, I would have a spokesperson, somebody that's trustworthy. I would have a mascot. Maybe I have an influencer who's trustworthy and can be utilized in the space. And you would then want to continue to reinforce that message across the social channel. And you wouldn't just want it to be socialized, you would want to do an omni-channel approach, most likely, so that somebody sees the trust or the safety aspect in the physical world as well as seeing it in the virtual world, so that the message is reinforced. So Kelsey, without knowing the specific aspects of what you are asking, like what the industry was or the product or the service, it's difficult to give a proper answer, but that's sort of my generic one to get you started on the right path. If you've got a more specific question, please ask me in the comments section below. Thank you so much for your being the first question today to kick off Chapter 11 and the question and answer session that we're doing today. All right, let's go. We've got 3 more for this particular chapter. And who's up next? Should we forget about privacy when it comes to content marketing? Are we more exposed than ever? Do a random search on Google and then boom, you start getting emails and notifications about same search content. Okay, I think I'm seeing, based on, I see 2 question marks there. So I'm just trying to suss out how many questions are here and what it is that you're asking me for. So should we forget about privacy when it comes to content marketing? No. There's no fear about privacy when it comes to content marketing. The only time is when you, here's an example. Maybe it's not a great example. I think it's a good one. Bluehost, right, is one of my providers for WordPress. So what Bluehost will do is they will typically, and even GoDaddy is another one of my providers for domain names, they will typically send out to me an EDM, which will say download the latest trends report, or download the latest tips to get your blog seen, or ways to make use of your domain name, whatever that might be in the EDM. It catches my attention, I click on it, I read the email, I then click on the link, it brings me to the website. Well, then I have the opportunity to complete the form, and it always bothers me that they're asking me to complete the form, because then that tells me that the person who's provided that content isn't GoDaddy, isn't Bluehost, it's actually a third party. And typically that is Hootsuite, or it's HubSpot, or it's another digital marketing vendor, let's say. So by me completing that information in order to download that particular report, I then agree to receiving spam. It's not spam in this particular case, right, because I'm opting in, but I have no choice. So I can't read the report unless I opt in from that. Is my privacy going to be, should I forget about my privacy then? No, I mean, it depends on who. If it's a reputable company, then the answer is that it's not a big deal, because if I unsubscribe to one of these reputable consulting firms or digital providers, then they are going to take me off of their list, hopefully. Most likely that they will, and most of them do, and it's not a problem. So, okay, then the problem would be is if you receive this from somebody who isn't your vendor. So in terms of, one of my vendors is GoDaddy and one of my vendors is Bluehost. So if it's not one of them, if it's somebody else, someone I haven't heard of, then there's a likelihood that I may not be able to opt out if I give them all of that information, and I may now be spammed for the rest of eternity on that email address, getting more and more offers like that. So I guess there could be an issue in that. So I hope that answers your question. Are we more exposed than ever? Yeah, of course we are, because everyone is trying to make use of all the channels in the marketing toolkit. I honestly believe the digital is one of the laziest tools in the toolkit. So, and the reason why is scale. So, and I say that, I think that if somebody's a pure digital marketer, they're one of the laziest marketers on the planet, because they're not trying to do a hybrid approach, because the hybrid approach on online, offline is far more complicated, it's far more successful, and it's just the right way to go. somebody who's just doing EDMs or just doing promoted posts? Or how about, I hate these ads on Instagram where they're selling a product or service and you just know that it's going to be a scam. Yeah, I mean, their ad is fantastic that they've put together, but you know that it's just not true, it's not going to work. And anyway, and they just get away with it, and Instagram, Facebook is just taking the money to get that ad, and they're never checking to see whether they're a reputable provider or not. That just really bothers me. Anyway, are we more exposed than ever? Yeah, of course we are, because digital is the laziest form of all marketing, and so the most nefarious and unscrupulous marketers are going to make use of digital. That does not mean that digital marketing is not complex. That does not mean that digital marketers are not some of the most qualified people in the industry. What I'm saying, so please make sure you're listening carefully to the nuance that I'm making and everyone else out there. I'm saying that because it's so easy to scale on this, there's an opportunity to be quite lazy. There's the opportunity to just not do good things with the platform and make use of the worst, be the worst of it as opposed to be the best of it. So do a random search on Google and then boom, you start to get emails. No, it doesn't work that way. It is as fantastic as all of the tools are. Just doing a random search on Google is not going to give away your privacy. Clicking on the wrong links on Google certainly will. Receiving a phishing email and not being a smart consumer and then downloading that document and getting malware. Sorry, let me let this helicopter go by. Receiving an SMS from somebody that you don't recognize and engaging with that and then getting notifications. That's by being a non-savvy consumer. So I think it's just really about the buyer needs to know what's going on. The social media user, consumer needs to know what's happening. The online commerce buyer needs to know how to best make use of the tools. And then of course it's about the brands. So the best brands are not going to do this to you, the worst brands are. And if you just spend a little bit of time, a little bit of extra time, then you can really be smart about this and then avoid the three things that you talk about there. If you got a follow-up question, let me know in the comments section below. Thanks a lot for that question. Okay, so that was question 1, question 2, question excuse me, 3 today for chapter 11. Content is king, but for how long? Content marketing has emerged as an extremely effective way to reach the consumer. Will the competitive nature of content marketing turn companies to other marketing strategies? Yes. So the short answer to your question is certainly yes. Content is king, so utilizing the very best content on the proper channel at the right time. So it's about the right message, the right content on the right channel at the right time to the right consumer. When not doing that, and of course everybody should be doing that, then one needs to make sure that they are turning to the latest and greatest marketing strategies or tools or techniques. Again, it's about content marketing, as I've mentioned in some of the other chapters and answering some of the other questions. You need to make sure that you have a clear engagement, a clear close. If you don't do that, you're not going to be as successful. And you're going to need to reach out to other marketing strategies. No one should invest in any one particular tool in the toolkit. So it's about an omni-channel approach. If you choose to do omni-channel and you just want to be digital, pure digital, then it's about utilizing different tools in that digital toolkit to make sure that you are best targeting the customer that's here on the proper channel with the proper content. I hope that answers your question, Lewis. Will the competitive nature of content turn companies to other? Yeah, only if it's not working for them, and they should. And it's not even so much about the competitive nature of that. It's just that maybe that's the wrong strategy or approach for your particular brand or your particular customer isn't engaging in that. I know that I've had some conversations on both YouTube and Twitter, as well as on LinkedIn, with some that are insistent that social media marketing or content marketing or digital is the only way to go. And it is absolutely not. If you are a pizza shop you can only make so many pizzas in a day, that if the signage in the front of your shop and the direct mailing that you do that has a coupon or free delivery, whatever it might be, draws in enough customers for you so that you're churning out, I don't know how many pizzas you can make in a shop per hour. I guess it depends upon the shop and the crew. But let's just say that you've hit that optimal profit point, as well as you're not taxing your infrastructure, your resources, so you're able to make the optimal amount of pizzas per hour, you're selling them. What good is going on social media going to do for that particular business if you couldn't make any more pizzas in an hour? So sure, you could reach out to a larger pool than the people who are driving by or who you've targeted with your mailing, but does that make sense? So you really only want to do something like that if you are going to be opening maybe you're expanding and you want to become a franchise, or whatever it might be. All right, anyway, hopefully that answers your question, Lewis. Thank you very much. That is a good one. The fourth and final question today is from Diane, and Diane asks, how will retailers be changing their marketing strategy? Okay, relating to which marketing tool will be most successful to bring in and retain consumers that are interested in saving instead of purchasing due to financial instability after the pandemic? How will retailers be changing their marketing strategy? Well, it depends upon the retailer. So I can't speak to that in general because I'm not exactly sure what the product or service is, and I don't know where they're located. So how will retailers be changing their marketing strategy? I'm not sure because I don't know who the retailer is, I don't know who the consumer is, and I don't know where their market is. So have they been shut down for the past 3 months? Have they had an online component? Have they been able to do curbside pickup? So, what is their situation that's there? That would determine whether or not their marketing strategy was changing. During reopening, then their strategy may change only in the fact that they would then want to educate their customers on how procedures are going to be going forward, whether that would be the amount of people who are allowed to enter the store, whether or not they will have an online-offline component. And then of course whether the safety features are going to be. So what's expected when you're in store? Are you going to require only 16 people or 20 people into the store? Are you going to require the use of a mask? Is there going to be hand sanitizer? Are there other safety measures or policies that are there? So again, it's about education or information to the customer. So that might be how the strategy is changing. As a business, you also want to factor in the fact that you're not going to be receiving as many customers per day as normal, perhaps. And so you need to make up that loss in profit for the days that you're operating and not bringing in enough money. Retail was already struggling before. So even though I think people are going to be quite excited to go back to shopping, especially when they don't have to wear a mask, when they don't have to distance, when they can just walk in freely and not have to check in, I got to tell you, it's such a pain. In Singapore, you not only have to scan in to get into the mall, you have to scan in for each shop, and you have to scan in, you have to scan out. That is a pain in the neck. And to me, I'd rather stay home until things return to normal. Because number one, anyway, I won't get into all the reasons why that completely bothers me. Beyond the fact that I'm an adult, if I shouldn't be out and about in public, then I should be staying home. If I'm fearful about catching something, I should stay home. If I don't care about any of that, then I should just be able to go out and live my life freely. So, and I got to tell you, and I've announced it on social media, and I'll say it right here. If you are a movie theater, if you are a coffee shop, if you are a restaurant, if you are a retail store, if you require me to wear a mask, I will not go into your store. You will not get a single penny of my money if you're going to require me to wear a mask. Just not going to do it. Not going to do it. Why? Because I'm healthy. I know that if I were to catch the virus, I'd be completely fine. So I already know that there's not a problem. So let me go to the shop and let me experience it the way I'm supposed to be. If you don't want me to do that, then you don't want me as your customer. Okay, and so then that kind of information should be addressed online also. All right, anyway, Diane, your next question, which marketing tool will be most successful to bring in and retain consumers that are interested in saving instead of purchasing? Well, again, I don't believe in sales necessarily. Sales to me dilute your brand. It's about creating value. So I would be offering value ads, but I understand at this difficult time, people may not have money. You might have inventory you want to move off the shelf. So the best way to move that inventory is potentially to discount it. I would never reduce the price of an item. I would then have you buy, 2 for 3, let's say. Not 1 for 1, but perhaps 2 for 3. And there are a number of different ways. And again, it's really about your products or service. It's about the marketplace that you're in. It's also about your pricing. These things all factor into how your sales model would work out. So anyway, sorry about the tangent. Hopefully I answered your question. And if not, ask me in the section below. All right, thank you for asking that excellent question to close out our chapter 11. Now in chapter 12, the next question will be, that one's a repeat right there, Lewis. All right, so when we return for chapter 12, which is actually the end of our 12-part series or 12-chapter series, but there's a 13th bonus chapter that I'll be releasing after the next one. So all right, anyway, when we return for chapter 12, we'll be taking on this particular question. All right, thank you for watching chapter 11. See you again in chapter 12. Thank you. Thank you for your questions. Remember, if you have a question that you'd like to have answered here on YouTube, all you need to do is go to @MarketingKitchenTV on Twitter, use the hashtag Q&A, and I will answer your questions here. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember, there's always fresh content simmering on our storytelling stovetop. So whatever happens in this kitchen shouldn't stay in this marketing kitchen. I'm Ron Vining, your host, reminding you to invite your family and friends to the next episode of Marketing Kitchen TV.